Why were Africans always seen as a threat, even before the world truly knew who they were? Imagine a continent filled with empires so vast, gold so abundant, armies so disciplined, and knowledge so advanced that outsiders could not comprehend it. From the walls of Benin that stretched longer than China's Great Wall to the libraries of Timbuktu holding secrets of astronomy and medicine, centuries before Europe's enlightenment, Africa radiated power. But with that power came fear, and fear quickly turned into a narrative. If they are this strong now, what happens if they rise higher? So myths were spun, lies whispered, and stories of savagery created to mask the truth. Because in truth, Africans were not weak but formidable, not primitive but pioneers. And to control them meant first to paint them as dangerous, explorers who trembled at the sight of spears, colonizers who wrote in journals that Africans had war in their eyes, and merchants who watched kingdoms like Mali or Ashanti control trade routes. With an iron grip, all agreed on one thing: here was a people too powerful to be left free. That is why rebellions from Haiti to the Mau Kenya were exaggerated as monstrous uprisings. Why enslaved Africans singing songs of freedom terrified plantation owners more than bullets. And why even a gathering of thinkers or drummers under a tree was seen as conspiracy. To erase that fear, history was rewritten. Yet the evidence remains in ruins buried beneath the Sahara, in artifacts stolen and locked in European museums, in the whispered legends of queens like Nzinga and Yaa Asantewaa who defied empires, in the unspoken acknowledgement that the Zulu army under Shaka changed warfare forever, and in the quiet truth that the wealth stolen from Africa built the skyscrapers of London and Paris. The untold truth they never taught us is that Africans were always seen as a threat, not because they were weak, but because they were strong, united, and capable of shaping the world in their own image. And so for centuries the strategy was to divide them, to diminish them, to fear them publicly, and yet secretly admire them, because deep down the colonizers knew the moment Africa remembered who she was, the world would tremble again. And that is the story you were never meant to hear. The mystery hidden in plain sight. The reason why Africans have always been seen as a threat. Africa's riches were whispered about in every European capital, feared, coveted, and stolen. But Africa's knowledge could not be erased. Even the pyramids, temples, and monuments spoke a truth no lie could bury. The world feared what it could not control. Africans resisted in ways both open and hidden. Every song, every story, every drumbeat carried the truth of freedom. Colonizers painted rebellion as chaos, but it was courage. Even when chained, Africans kept their spirits unbroken. Every resistance, every uprising was a spark, a warning, and still, the world underestimated Africa's unity. For centuries, stories of fear hid stories of brilliance. Africa gave the world mathematics, medicine, architecture, and art far ahead of its time. And yet, the world's history books ignored these truths. Every misrepresentation was a strategy to weaken pride. But Africa never truly fell. Legends of queens and warriors lived on in whispers and memory. Every stolen treasure, every hidden scroll, every erased monument tells a story waiting to be remembered. The world feared Africa's memories, for it carried the power to awaken pride. And now that awakening begins. The threat they feared was never gone, it was simply waiting for the world to recognize it. Africans have always been strong, united, and capable. And now the world can finally see it. They tried to erase Africa's story, but which part of that story do you think refuses to die?